Hello and welcome back to my humble show. I am your host for today and every other day, the Articulate Thinker. Hopefully, here to bring you art articles and articulation straight from Articulation Station. So be sure to like, subscribe, and enjoy the ride. Don't forget to turn on those bell notifications while you're at it. I'm on my lunch break as per usual, so I don't have a lot of time. Hopefully, I can finish this off before I go back to work so I can go ahead and upload it rather than pausing it and then finishing it off several hours later. Hate it when that happens. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about Donald Trump. Obviously, he turned himself in yesterday. The deadline was today, and the last of the 19 defendants has now turned himself in as well. I'm going to go through the names really quick first before I get into some additional information. It has been hard to keep up with all of it. I haven't recorded a show in the last day or so. It's hard to keep track of that as well. But yeah, I'll try to be as insightful, as articulate as possible. Feel free to disagree with me on anything I may say. Let me know in the comments below what you think, what you know. I'm here to learn more so than to teach, but to each their own. So, I'm going to start with this, just because it has some basic information for you. This is an article from New York Magazine. All the mugshots of Donald Trump and his alleged co-conspirators. I actually had this pulled up yesterday before the mugshot even dropped for Donald Trump. Let's see. It was approximately 4:30 my time when he turned himself in over here on the West Coast. I mean, that's where I am, not where he is. But yeah, it took a little bit of time for the mugshot to drop. I was hearing after the fake mugshots, went around for a little while, I was hearing that the real mugshot wouldn't come out until today. But then it ended up coming out yesterday, shortly after it was being reported that it wasn't actually going to come out yesterday. So, I guess my point is, a lot of fake news out there, fake mugshots, fake news about real mugshots. Either way, it dropped. I'm not sure if it dropped sooner than supposedly suspected or expected because the fake one was making its rounds and a lot of people thought it was the real one. I'm not really sure. But either way, it's here. And here are the rest of the defendants as well. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 19 defendants there. Yep. And you can see Donald Trump right there at the top. No need to zoom in on that. They're all shown below. I'm sure you've already seen it. It is the mugshot seen around the world. Likely the most famous mugshot in the history of mugshots. So I guess they wanted to make this man a superstar even more. I don't think that's what they were going for, but it very well may happen. And yes, he has made his return to Twitter, at least to a certain extent. We'll see what else he has to say there. But for now, all I know of is one tweet, or shall I say post, on what is now known as X. And I'll pull that up momentarily, but let me read through this and show you the mugshots up close, though not in person. For Donald Trump, racking up dozens of felony charges comes with one silver lining, getting a legendary mugshot. Trump surrogates began hyping the photo immediately after his first indictment in April 2023. With his daughter-in-law, Laura, predicting it would go down in history as the most famous mugshot ever to exist in America. But Trump was denied his close-up. He was booked with no photo in his first 3 arraignments, and his campaign resorted to selling merch emblazoned with a fake mugshot. So I wonder what the switch-up is all about. Is Fani or Fani Willis, whatever you call her, is she so high on her horse, on her high horse, that she wants to do things differently, that she wants as much buzz circulating around her trial as possible, around her prosecution, aka persecution, as possible? Or is it something else? I know some are state cases, some are federal cases. They vary. But I'm just wondering, are they competing against each other? I'm talking about the prosecutors, of course, to gain the most notoriety for themselves. I don't want to judge anyone's motive, but we do know some things about Fani Willis that she may not have wanted people to know. Things about her political preferences, which should be mostly unknown when it comes to people in such positions. But, if I have time to get to that, I will do just that. Let me get through this as quickly as possible, though. However, the fourth time was the charm. Trump was photographed inside Atlanta's main jail on Thursday evening, just like his 18 co-defendants in the Georgia election interference case. I believe Willis wants to try them all at once, which is quite the undertaking. I also did hear something about potential trial dates, but I don't want to speak to that off the cuff in case I heard incorrectly, considering how much fake news is out there. Yeah, I wish her good luck on all of that. Yeah, quite the undertaking indeed, with so many defendants, so many charges. After arriving in Georgia on his private jet, Trump was whisked by police motorcade to the Fulton County Jail, where he surrendered and was briefly taken into custody as inmate number, and you can see the number right there. I'm not going to read all those numbers off. Officials entered his mugshot, fingerprints, and physical description into the jail's books, listing Trump's height and weight at 6 feet and 3 inches tall and 215 pounds, 24 pounds less than the weight a White House doctor reported in 2018, according to the New York Times. So maybe he's laying off the burgers lately and the Coke, which said the form was filled out by aides. 20 minutes later, he was released on a $200 bond, 10% of it covered by a local bonding company. What do you think about that bond amount there? I don't see him as a flight risk. I mean, he's not exactly trying to hide, is he? Making his rounds on social media and all. Around 8:40 p.m., the sheriff's office released his mugshot showing Trump glowering. Is that a word? Glowering? Or is that a typo? Glowering in his signature blue suit and red tie. He decided not to smile in the photo because, according to CNN's sources, he wanted to look defiant. I also heard that the mugshot was first leaked to them. I don't know if that's true either. He called the whole episode a travesty of justice as he boarded his plane back to New Jersey, then posted the infamous photo both on Truth Social and X, the first time he'd used the platform formerly known as Twitter since he was banned following the Capitol riot, under the caption, "Election Interference Never Surrender." That was on his mugshot reveal on X. His campaign immediately began selling T-shirts. Bold strategy, right? Good marketing move. I can't blame him for it. Now, I'm no fan of the man, and I'm not one to donate to his campaign. I don't want my campaign dollars going to legal fees anyways, regardless of the candidate, and he has been known to do some of that. But of course, his hardcore supporters are fine with that. He could probably spend money on fidget spinners, and they'd be fine with it. Here's a gallery of all the mugshots in the Georgia case, which will update as more photos come in. So I'm not sure if they're all laid out here below, but either way, I'll go through these quickly. That is the man. Whether he's the man with the plan or not, that is the man. The man of the hour. The man of the century. In a good or bad way. You decide. So no, I'm not one to jump on the Trump train, the bandwagon. But I'm going to call it like I see it. I voted for him. I don't want to have to vote for him again. But if I see him as guilty, I'll say that. If I see him as innocent, I'll say that. Either way, this process is very politicized. And he is a former president of the United States, potentially a future president of the United States, and it is crazy that he has a mugshot out there. might work out for the best for him, honestly. Might push him over the line. He might pick up some more votes now. I've been saying his base has been growing louder but not larger. Depending on how all of this goes, this might flip the script because he has so many millions of views on his mugshot. These days, people left and right often appreciate rhetoric more than record. And a good troll, a good meme relates to an awful lot of people who may just go out and vote for someone whose character they don't necessarily correlate with. Or if they see him as a victim of the system, there's a lot of people who relate to that feeling. So yeah, 45th President of the United States, Trump is facing 13 counts, 1 count of racketeering, 3 counts of solicitation of violation of oath of public officer. Solicitation of violation of oath by public officer. Tongue twister. 2 counts of conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree. 2 counts of conspiracy to commit false statements and writings. 2 counts of false statements and writings. 1 count of conspiracy to commit filing false documents. 1 count of filing false documents and conspiracy to commit to impersonating a public officer. That is a mouthful, indeed. So they're going to try to push all that through in their prosecution via their indictment, which is now officially official. I'm not going to read the details about all of these other defendants, but I will show them. We have Rudy Giuliani, clearly America's favorite mayor from way back when. No longer respected by a lot of people who used to respect him for one reason or another. Mark Meadows, former chief of staff, and he is not cheesing for the camera there. Looks like he's about to commit a crime. Yeah, that's Mark Meadows, though. Not even reading their bond amounts. Sidney Powell there. Jenna Ellis there. Smiling. The only thing that's missing is the wave. They probably don't let you wave in your mugshots. She has a good attitude about it, as opposed to many of the frowning faces, such as this one. John Eastman. Kenneth Cheeseborough. Even Cheeseborough is failing to cheese. I can't blame him, though. Scott Hall. David Schaefer. There we have another smile. Ray Smith. He looks like a serial killer. The kind that gets a documentary. Kathy Latham. She looks like she's considering smiling. Looks like she's considering smiling. Harrison Floyd. I almost said Harrison Ford. Jeffrey Clark. Robert Cheeley. Mike Roman. Sean Still. He got a still, all right. A still, not a steal. Stephen Lee. Okay, that is the face of the last man to turn himself in, if I'm not mistaken. Trevian Cutty. Misty Hampton. She's smiling. Smiling and wiling out. All right, so that's what it's all about. Moving on to Donald Trump's Twitter account. Or shall I say, X account. I don't even like Donald Trump, but this is an elite welcome back tweet. That's what I had to say about it. So let me click on his account, pull it up for you to see, in case you haven't already seen it. Maybe you're not on this particular platform. He has a link to his website up at the top, donaldtrump.com. Currently, this has 179.7 million views. And you have Elon Musk eating it up. Elon Musk alone has 154.3 million followers. So when you're in their marks, when you're in their line of vision, in their sights, you're going to have even more eyes on you. Not that Donald Trump needed help with that in the first place. A lot of people have been watching his account for a long time. Election interference, never surrender, DonaldJTrump.com. That is that. Mugshot, August 24, 2023. Let me click his website really quickly. I actually have this pulled up on a separate page, so I can exit out of this and show you this. This is his account. He himself has 86.9 million followers. I haven't looked to see if that is rising or falling since he released his mugshot, which was already released elsewhere. It's just that he wanted a piece of the pie, I suppose. But yeah, you can see his previous tweet before that. To all those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th. So this was tweeted out by him on January 8th of 2021. So yeah, been a while since he last tweeted. A lot has happened over at Twitter, which is no longer called Twitter. So here is that website of his. Basically a place for him to fundraise, for better or worse. He says, no matter how many vicious lies and attacks they throw our way, President Trump will never surrender our great country to the left's tyranny, but the Democrats will spend billions and billions of dollars to try to stop our movement, and we're counting on your support to finish what we started. Together, we will dismantle the deep state. Though he didn't do that the first time around. Win back the White House. Keyword is back because you lost it in the first place. And save America in 2024. Save it again? Please consider completing your contribution today. Thank you. I'm not going to complete any contribution right now, but I'm doing my due diligence and trying to report the news to you. Take it where you may. Take it with a grain of salt or sugar. Either way. A personal note from President Donald J. Trump. And maybe that other note wasn't written by him, like one of his typical tweets or truths. Today I was arrested. Indeed. Today at the notoriously violent jail in Fulton County, Georgia, I was arrested despite having committed no crime. So he'll call the jail violent. He doesn't often refer to January 6th as having been violent. That's a little bit of politicking there, but I get it. He's emphasizing that it wasn't pleasant for him to be there, thus emphasizing the narrative that he is a victim in all of this, which, in a sense, he is. The American people know what's going on. What has taken place is a travesty of justice and election interference. I mean, not necessarily in this case, but in other cases, at the hands of Joe Biden's Justice Department, he is being prosecuted. He as the front runner in the Republican Party. I mean, how is that not election interference? Whether it's legal or illegal, or shall I say proper or improper? Yeah, very interfering. The left wants to intimidate you, which is an interesting word, intimidate. And I'll tell you why momentarily. Intimidate you out of voting for a political outsider who puts the American people first. But today I walked into the lion's den with one simple message on behalf of our entire movement. I will never surrender our mission to save America. And by the way, if you're someone who thinks that I'm just reading and reacting without actually saying anything, without actually giving any hardcore opinions, it's not because I'm afraid to make people angry on one side or the other. No, I'm going to say it as I see it. I'm going to call it like I see it. It's just that I try to keep an open mind on these things. People are so used to partisan politics and hardline, hardcore views on things that anything that seems like a straddle of the fence, which may just be balance, or unbiased is seen as betrayal of some sort. Well, again, I'm not on the Trump train. I'm not on the Trump trail. I'll vote for whoever I think is going to benefit America the most. As for the rest of this little note here, but today I walked into the lion's den with one simple message on behalf of our entire movement. I will never surrender our mission to save America. If you are doing poorly due to the sinister people in control of our country right now, don't even think about donating. That's actually a nice note. He's telling people that if they're having a hard time, they shouldn't vote. Not vote. Obviously, they should vote. Donate. There we go. Get my words mixed up here. Thinking about when I need to go back to work. But that could just be another type of pandering appeal. Got to throw that in there to make them even more sympathetic to you. I don't know. Can't judge that. But if you can, please make a contribution to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House and save America during this dark chapter in our nation's history. I'm all about evicting Joe Biden from the White House, so I'm on board with that. That requires voting. So yeah, go out and vote when the time is nigh. I am running out of time here, speaking of time. But I'll scroll through this really quickly. From Not the Bee, here are the most tremendous and many people are saying most perfect Trump mugshot memes on the internet. You knew it would get memed. You just didn't know how funny the memes would be. Presenting only the choicest Trump mugshots and memes from the internet without all the cringe lefty ones that make you want to dive face first through a sliding glass door. I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, so here's his face with the caption, "The cashier watching me put no tip." Yeah, that is a very serious face indeed. So serious that it is about to bring me to a point, which may or may not be sharp. But let me get through the rest of these. What is this all about?
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear God. It's beautiful.
Okay. Blue Steel. I don't know about beautiful, though. Gang, gang, gang. Me at the function after going non-verbal. T-shirt makers waiting for the Trump mugshot to drop. For real. Some are calling it the Mona Lisa of mugshots. Hilarious. Hilarious. At Sean Farage. Apologies if there is any profanity in this. I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Well, they took my mugshot. It's a big, beautiful mugshot.
Okay, just an impersonation. Maybe that interests you, but ain't nobody got time for that. 47 seconds long. I'm going to keep scrolling along. Fulton County releases the first official portrait of the 47th President of the United States. All right. So that's from the Babylon Bee. Very satirical. But it could be correct ultimately. That's what I am interested in knowing. Does his mugshot push you further away from him or further towards him? And regardless of what you think personally, do you think that it will contribute to a win or to a loss? And keep in mind that, yes, he is being prosecuted. He could end up in jail. He could end up ineligible. To be the nominee, ultimately, which some people would like to see, but that's a legal matter of its own. Wanted for president. Donald, hey, you're finally awake. Okay, what is that? Final Fantasy or something? I have no idea. I'm not into gaming. Presidential seal there. Some of these aren't even all that funny. He has a baseball bat. A gat from Grand Theft Auto. Almost at the end of these. Me trying to look like I'm listening and forgetting to actually listen. From Carrie Lake, of course. Not a big fan of her. The simp that she is. Lots of fake mugshots right now. This is real. Not. Obviously. What the chicken nuggets in my microwave see at 3 a.m.? They see Donald Trump. Apparently he has been laying off the chicken nuggets, though. Me looking at all the Trump mugshot memes, and also a video is linked at the bottom, but it's about something entirely different. The Barbie movie. Blah. So I'm going to have to end on this question. I don't even have time to get into all of this exposed information about Fani Willis. Fani Willis. Fani Willis. Different posts of her from the past where she is endorsing different Democrats and saying things which are clearly from the mouth of a leftist, from the mind of a leftist. Some very thorough threads here. One from Benny Johnson, who sometimes has a tendency to clickbait things, but in this case, there's a lot of stuff here. Proud Democrat. A mug on her desk. And a lot of stuff of that nature. So you get the point, you get the picture. And pardon that. That is very inappropriate. I don't have time for that. Because like I said, ain't nobody got time for that. But I will save it for later. Hopefully I will have time to cover it later. Almost 30 minutes into the show. I got to go back to work though. But let me end on this. This random post on X from Brian Krasenstein, one of the Krasenstein brothers. Okay. Update. John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor, weighed in on Trump's mugshot that was released yesterday evening. Bolton stated, "He could have smiled. He could have looked benign. Instead, he looks like a thug. I think it's intended to be a sign of intimidation against the prosecutors and the judges. You cannot believe in a law and order philosophy and say it applies to everyone except Donald Trump." I mean, I agree in theory, but you're saying that it shouldn't apply to everyone except Donald Trump. Meanwhile, he's the only president who has ever gone through this. The only presidential candidate, at least with his notoriety. I don't know, maybe there is some nobody from past, in some historical context, who has gone through something similar, but definitely didn't have a mugshot seen around the world. In this case, though, he capitalized on it. And they didn't have to take his mugshot. They were asking for this. So they're like, definitely got to get that shot, that mugshot. And then he looks like a so-called thug in it, which was supposedly an insulting word to say 5 minutes ago. And now they're like, oh, he's intimidating. He's trying to intimidate the prosecutors who are prosecuting him. Oh, the irony. So I just said, very simply, if I can find it, and maybe I can't. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not even seeing my comment. Did my comment get deleted? Oh, here it is. Oh, wait a second. What on earth? It popped up for just a split second. I could see it in the corner of my eye. And then it disappeared. Let me refresh the page one more time. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's see if it'll... No, I don't think it did show up. Maybe I was just seeing my little thumbnail. But that's weird because I should have it. You know what? I'm going to see if I can find it this way. Sorry for the unplanned derailment here. Interesting. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I don't know why it wasn't showing up under the actual post, though. But I can find it from my replies list. I feel like putting Trump in custody and putting a mugshot out for the world to see is more of an act of intimidation than him picking the pose. So would you agree with me on that? Or would you agree with John Bolton, who isn't exactly the biggest fan of Donald Trump at this point? I understand that logic of mine doesn't apply to everyone who ever has their mugshot taken. Like, you can't just say to everyone who poses in an intimidating fashion for a mugshot, well, actually, they're the one who's being intimidated because someone's prosecuting them. Sometimes it's justified, sometimes it isn't. Obviously, he is innocent until proven guilty. So there's that. And also, yeah, I'm not really seeing the justification for this indictment in the first place. But I am open to interpretations other than my own. So I don't have time to break that down anymore. I got to go back to work like 5 minutes ago. But thanks for sticking around this long. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Keep in touch. Keep in tune. New content is coming soon. Peace.